Are you feeling positively stuck in your weight loss journey? Have you found yourself like raising your fist to the heavens? You're like, why can't I figure this out? Or is that just me? No, it's not just me. It's not just us. 95 to 99% of diets fail. That's a really high percentage. That's not really good odds. I'm guessing you've been there, but why though? I am here to tell you that we make mistakes along the way, and too many mistakes add up. So I have compiled a list of mistakes that we make when trying to lose weight, that if maybe we didn't make as many, we would be more successful. So how would I know? Well, because I'm in the 1 to 5% that actually figured it out. That's why I'm making these videos. Hi, I'm Heather. I'm a nurse practitioner. I personally lost 80 pounds without meds or surgery, and I'm here to encourage you to make good choices and learn new habits so you too can lose weight and keep it off. So I'm going to tell you what I think are the 6 biggest mistakes that people make in their weight loss journey. Now, full disclosure, I originally came up with 42 mistakes that I believe royally hindered my ability to lose weight. There are an awful lot of mistakes that we can make when trying to lose weight, and I made every last one of them. But rather than making a 7-part series on mistakes, I've decided to go ahead and upload those mistakes one at a time over on YouTube Shorts and Instagram. But today we're going to focus on the big ones, the ones that maybe aren't the worst ones, but the ones that I think are important enough to kind of highlight and to focus on first if you're trying to figure this whole thing out and wondering where you might be going wrong. So we're going to go ahead and count down these top 6 mistakes. Stick around for number 1, which may have you a little irritated with me and the facepalm obviousness of it all, but I assure you it is absolutely the number 1 reason most people fail on their weight loss journey. So stick around for that. Okay, so mistake number 6, trying to change too much too quickly. There is no better way to crash and burn than to try to completely overhaul your diet all at once. Some people even try to make it a twofer and throw in a whole new fitness program at the same time. All right, this is a newsflash, you guys. We are creatures of habit. We don't actually like change very much. So when we try to do a whole lot all at once, we go into red alert and our body is not happy with us. The true path to sustainable change is to start really, really small. Go big or go home is a surefire way to give up early and just quit. I think anybody who's ever been trying to lose weight over a long period of time has tried to change everything all at once. Who amongst us hasn't woken up January 1 with a new gym membership and a new subscription to a weight loss group, trying to do all that we can on a full court press, right? We've all done it. And how well did it work for us? Usually not very. There's a reason gyms are real busy in January and not so much in February. So whatever weight loss strategy you decided to take on, instead of trying to do it all at once in one fell swoop, find one thing that you can start on and just do that. We have all the time in the world until we don't anymore. But assume you have all the time in the world and assume you're more likely to make sustainable change if you just do tiny little bits at a time. So it is way better to make a tiny little change that sticks for months and months than to make a gigantic change that just goes away immediately. Mistake number 5, think of yourself as going on a diet, which is time limited, rather than creating or developing a whole new eating strategy. The real problem with thinking of yourself as going on a diet and having it be something that you consider time limited is what's going to happen when you're done. If what happens is you go back to the way that you were eating before the diet, then you're just going to get all the weight back that you lost. It can't just be a short-term thing. If you got yourself to a situation where you had too much weight on your body, then you need to undo that by changing the way you eat altogether. Forever, right? So if it is a diet and you think of it as something that you're just doing real quick, like to get into a wedding dress, then, that's fine. But if you want to make lasting, sustainable change or to lose a significant amount of weight, it can't be a diet that you're going on. It has to be your new diet, as in your new human diet, as in what you eat all the time now. Now, you may not have seen it on the same scale I have as a healthcare provider, but I am positive that you know somebody in your life that has used a short-term thinking strategy to lose weight only to watch it all come back. People that have used tools such as weight loss surgery, weight loss medication, strategies such as intermittent fasting, which is what I did, or calorie restriction. They successfully use that tool, they lose the weight, and then they revert back to the way they were eating before, and all the weight comes back on, sometimes with friends, right? We've seen that happen. We avoid that by accepting that what we were doing to get us to the point where we needed one of those tools was not working. So that when the tool has run its course or when we've reached our goal weight, we need to have a whole new dietary plan or way of eating that can sustain our new bodies with our weight loss. Understanding this is critical to sustained weight loss success and not just being another statistic that gains all the weight back after you lose it. Because believe me, it takes a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and just hard work to lose a bunch of weight. You do not want to give it all back simply because you failed to address the baseline diet that got you to where you are. I am absolutely guilty of thinking of my way of eating as being a diet rather than a long-term strategy. In fact, when I was about 24 years old, I read this book called Protein Power. And in that book, they talk about reducing carbohydrates to lose weight. Yeah, it totally worked for me. For the only time in my life, I was actually getting down to a healthy body weight. And then what did I do? I went off of it. What happened was I was trying to get pregnant and I wasn't sure that eating low carb was healthy because I was an idiot that didn't know any better. And then what did I do instead? I ate ice cream every single day of my pregnancy. Let me assure you, folks, that wasn't a better choice. Do I have regrets? Yes, I have regrets. I have lots of regrets. Even after that, that was in my 20s. I didn't lose my weight until I was 46 years old. So for 2 decades, I knew that eating low carb was what worked for me. And so I would go on a low carb diet, lose weight, and go back off of it and gain it back again. I can't even tell you how many times I did that. The reason I have finally been able to keep the weight off is because I don't consider that a diet that I'm going on. I consider that my diet. That's what I eat. Which leads me to mistake number 4, which is to give zero thought to long-term maintenance and holding patterns. Because y'all, life is coming for you. You are going to fall off the wagon. You are going to have stressful events in your life that make it very difficult for you to follow your new eating plan. It is not an if, my friend. It is a when. So when life comes at you and throws at you a whole lot of stress that you find it very difficult to be in the process of actively losing weight, that's a really good time to hold the fort and just try and maintain the loss that you've already achieved. Now, some people are like, what are you talking about? The second I'm not losing weight anymore, I'm gaining the weight. Well, maybe before life comes at you, you should practice a holding pattern. You should practice what you need to do to maintain your weight where it is right now. Now, I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but until you can kind of hold steady and know how to hold steady, then when the stress comes at you, you're just going to keep putting weight back on. Now, one way you can really help yourself with weight maintenance is to start an exercise program. So if you want to kind of think a few steps ahead, maybe instead of changing your food plan right now, you work on incorporating your movement, your exercise plan, get your maintenance strategy in place, and then start to work on changing your food plan. I'm kind of harping on it because it's so critical. It is so disheartening to see people struggle to lose a bunch of weight and then watch them put it all back on because they never had a plan in place for maintenance. One of the reasons that I am so obsessed with maintenance and holding patterns is because of how much of the weight loss literature that I've read. And y'all, it is bleak. It is not reassuring. It is not comforting. If you want to feel very discouraged about your ability to lose weight and keep it off, start reading research articles. I got my doctorate in nursing practice, and I chose to study obesity to try and figure out myself and how to lose weight, in addition to, seeing if there was a way that I could help people in my practice. And in research article after research article, they were very clear that, first of all, successful weight loss is 5 to 10%, which is not that much. That means if you weigh 300 pounds, you lose 10%, that's considered a success, but you still weigh 270 pounds. That is how low the expectations are for people to successfully lose weight. And in fact, losing 10% of your starting body weight was considered a really good success and uncommon. Not great at all. So when I started being successful and actually getting the weight off, I was terrified of my maintenance strategy. You could talk to my coach about this one. It is something that I harped on because I was just so afraid I would have nightmares that I would wake up and I would have gained all the weight back. Now, fortunately, it's been over a year now. I feel like I have a handle on things, but I am not at all out of the woods. Mistake number 3, forget to celebrate the small wins. So going back to the last mistake, if you are able to keep yourself in a holding pattern, and maybe don't think of it as a plateau, but a holding pattern, and you have been able to maintain the same weight, either you're not gaining weight anymore or you've maintained the weight that you've already lost, that's something to celebrate. That's huge. Having a steady weight is a reason for me to say congratulations, you have figured out maintenance, because that is critical to long-term success. Now, out of all of the mistakes that I know there are possible to make, it may sound a little weird that I'm choosing celebrate the small wins as being an important enough one to include in this top 6 list. But hear me out on this one. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I believe the foundation to sustainable weight loss and to really being successful in this whole process and this whole journey is to change your habits. And that starts so small. And in order for habits to stick, we have to celebrate them as we're building them. So literally, when I mean celebrate small wins, I'm talking about when you're out and you order that side of vegetables instead of getting the fries. That is a celebration. I'm talking about when you choose to take the stairs instead of the elevator. I'm talking about when you drink a glass of water instead of your 5th cup of coffee with cream and sugar in it for the day. You know what I mean? Tiny little habits that stack and stack and stack in your favor. It's crucial. There is no other way that I have found to be able to sustainably change your body, change your mindset, change the way that you look and feel than to change your habits. So celebrating those small wins, building those habits, non-negotiable. Mistake number 2, hate your body. If I'm being truthful about how I rank this, I would say that this is more important than anything else that I have or will talk about on my entire channel. In one of my earliest sessions with my coach, Dr. Terry Lance, who is my personal hero, she quoted something that I guess came from somewhere else, but because I heard it from her, I think of it as coming from her. And that is, you can't heal a body that you hate. And oh my God, y'all, that hit me so hard. I used to stand naked in front of the mirror every single morning and pick out all the things that were wrong about my body and then proceed to get on the scale and berate myself for how much I weighed. I'm not so sure that was good for my mindset. Obesity and weight loss is a topic that I have immersed myself in for a very long time, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. And the way I hear people describe themselves isn't nice, right? People make comments about their bodies that are hateful. I did it all the time. I would constantly joke about my fatness. I felt like it was a defense mechanism. I felt like it was comedy so that, there's nothing you can say about me that's any worse than what I say about myself. Now, if that doesn't make you pause, why on earth would you also need to be saying bad things about yourself and throwing it on the pile of everyone else? This body got you here. It's the only one you're ever going to have. Love that body right now, the way it looks right now. You do not need to lose an ounce to appreciate the blessing that is your body. I think that's as emotional as I'm going to get on this one. Which leads us to mistake number 1. Quit entirely. All right, I did warn you that it was going to be a very facepalm obvious one, but it really is the worst mistake that you can make. You can just give up and not try anything. You're not going to lose any weight if you say F it and you start rolling back through the drive-thru every day. If you start buying, all the junk food that are your favorites. If you kind of go off the deep end and binge. All the weight's going to come back with friends. Now, would anybody blame you? No, they would not. It can be very disheartening to be grinding along, putting your heart and soul into a weight loss strategy and have it just not work, or to work for a little while and then peter out. And then no matter how hard you try, you just can't make any headway. Friends, that is not the time to quit. That is the time to change your strategy. What you're doing ain't working. Let's try something else. But please don't give up. Do not lose ground. Go back to, I don't remember what mistake it was, one of the earlier mistakes, which was work on that maintenance strategy. Like, celebrate those small wins, the fact that you got there. There's nothing more frustrating to me than hearing someone say, I gave up because I only lost 20 pounds. You lost 20 pounds. It's not an only. It is a celebratory event. Hold that loss. And if what you're doing doesn't work, change gears, try something else. There are a zillion things to try. There are a million experts. Ask a different one for the next strategy that you plan to try. Don't give up. Now, if you're making none of these mistakes and you listen to the 36 shorts that I'm going to be making and you haven't made any of those mistakes either, maybe what you're experiencing is not a mistake problem. Maybe it's a knowledge problem. In which case, I highly recommend this video that I made, I don't know where it's going to be, called Why We Get Fat. And that's what I talk about, the science behind why we put this weight on in the first place. If you find value from my videos, please like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.